Now on 4 News Now at 6, the murder of 4 University of Idaho students in their home has many parents rethinking their children's safety, what some moms are doing to protect their kids.
And the warmer weather we are seeing right now, it is not going to last much longer. Coming up in your first alert forecast, I'll let you know when you've got to break out those heavy coats once again.
And a proposed biodiesel plant the size of 3 Walmarts has nearby families outraged, why they say it could hurt the community. You're watching 4 News Now at 6.
4 University of Idaho students murdered where they should have been safe. The national search to find their killer created confusion and fear for even some of the smallest towns in the inland Northwest.
I've been talking to parents about that fear. This topic is so sensitive and created so much fear for some moms. They were not comfortable talking to us about it on camera. They sent in messages and reactions were very different. In one case, a parent with a child at U of I wrote to me that she armed her daughter with a handgun after the murders and that her daughter feels safer back at school with that added protection.
Breaking news on Good Morning Northwest. 4 University of Idaho students.
Families across the inland Northwest woke up to the horrifying news.
We need to be vigilant. We need to watch out for our neighbors.
We all know the story now. 4 University of Idaho students murdered at an off-campus home.
I want to get right to our breaking news as we come on the air. The arrest of a 28-year-old man in Pennsylvania.
It made national headlines, and in the weeks that followed, more and more calls came in to Moscow police, just like these.
Crime and obviously everything.
And that fear hit home for moms like Kelly Damon.
And the minute it happened, there were so many people that I know in our community being so close in proximity that knew the victims or their family. I just think anytime that something happens to a child, no matter the age, and you're a new mom, that's your worst nightmare.
Kelly's a mom of 3 in Spokane. Her 2 older kids are in college out of state. She says they regularly share their locations and have conversations about safety on and off campus.
At her particular college, kids move out their junior year off campus. And that was something that we had to talk about a lot this winter because I did not want her living off campus.
We asked parents online about their fears and changes they made after the murders. They ranged from locking doors to adding security cameras, and in one case, arming their college-age student with a handgun. Here in Spokane, property crimes have increased 30% in just the last year. But when we asked police how common it is to be the victim of a violent break-in, their answer turned out to be more complicated than you might think. Spokane police say there were 9 reports out of more than 35,000 that were burglaries involving a stranger who hurt someone or was armed with a weapon. 35 other incidents could fall into this category, but the relationship between the victim and attacker was not clear. A national crime victimization survey reveals in just 7% of all home burglaries, a person was attacked or threatened. In 65% of the burglaries, the victims knew the person breaking in. But those numbers offer little relief when a crime so violent happens in a community we know so well. Nicole Warner, a licensed therapist who grew up in Moscow, Idaho, and now works at the Center for Solace in Spokane, says patients are coming in knowing details about the horrific murders.
I think that a lot of times we don't notice what's going on with us until it gets pretty bad.
She says secondary or vicarious trauma can be community-wide. It happens when people experience someone else's trauma as their own.
It can bring up so many things around fear and around safety, not to mention just being a human and feeling empathy for the tragedy of those events.
Kelly says some things are just unpreventable. She finds some peace of mind knowing that her daughter is back on campus.
It touched everyone, I think, around the country, and you just pray for those families, and it's unimaginable.
And I do want to thank Kelly for giving us that on-camera interview. I know it was difficult. It is important to seek professional care if feelings of fear stick around or become more intense. That's what the therapist really wanted me to make clear with this story.
And during your interview with Kelly, she mentioned that she had a connection to some of the victims in Moscow. With the other parents that you spoke with, did they have a similar connection as well?
I was surprised at how many connections the moms that we heard from and the parents that wrote in, they were emphasizing that many people have a connection connection to the victims or their families in some way through schools or even summer camps. And so plans that they've changed since the murders are really just for peace of mind. They don't believe anything would have changed what happened to those 4 victims.
And talking with the moms and people around this story, did you find that because they don't, or detectives and law enforcement don't necessarily or haven't told us that they've narrowed down a motive, does that increase the fear for some of those parents?
I think because we don't have all the details and there's still so much uncertainty and there's no reason to believe this was not random, that is sticking with people. And that is something that was brought up time and time again, that it could have happened to any of us.
And we're going to find out more details in the next year. It could take a while as well.
That's right.
Kirsten, thank you. We'll get ready for another round of closures on I-90 as crews finish demolishing what's left of the Magnolia Street pedestrian bridge. Starting at 10 o'clock Saturday night, I-90 from Division to Freya will be closed until 8 a.m. on Sunday morning. For a full list of the detours and closures, find this story. It's on KXLY.com. Our warmer weather is going to stick around for the next few days at least.
I think everybody is enjoying it. The winter weather, though, is not far behind. Let's send it over to meteorologist Matt Gray to see when we can expect temperatures to drop.
And they are going to drop. Winter is not done yet, not by a long shot. Our temperatures, at least locally, dropping down to the 30s after another beautiful day in the 40s. And as Aaron mentioned, we got a few more days of that before winter starts to settle back in. Right now, all the Arctic air is up in the Arctic, where it should be in northern Canada. That is not going to be the case as we head into next week. Take a look at this simulation here as we head into the beginning of next week. This is Tuesday afternoon, and Arctic air is sitting on our doorstep, and it'll be across the inland Northwest by Wednesday. So this is going to be the suddenest of sudden changes from pretty warm weather to some downright cold weather at almost any time of the year. And it is going to happen really fast. So clouds moving in tonight and a chance for a couple of little showers that'll kind of be the foreshadowing for what we're going to experience as we head into next week. So we'll show you who might see a little light flurry or a dusting tonight, plus more on that Tuesday storm. That's coming up.
Matt, thank you. New at 6 o'clock, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration is one step closer to dramatically improving access to a nasal spray version of the opioid overdose antidote, Narcan.
Research shows that wider availability may save lives as U.S. opioid overdose numbers rose 17% in 2021. 2 advisory committees voted unanimously in favor of making a nasal spray version of Narcan available over the counter. The final decision will be up to the FDA commissioner. Right now, Narcan is available in many pharmacies with or without a prescription, but it's kept behind the counter. If approved, you could soon find it in vending machines, grocery stores, and gas stations across the country.
Really want to lower any and all barriers to having this life-saving medication on hand when the crisis happens.
The FDA says it's working with companies to simplify directions on the label to make it as easy as possible to use. There's a controversial bill heading to the Idaho Senate floor right now to outlaw gender-affirming health care for minors. The Idaho House of Representatives voted Tuesday in favor of House Bill 71.
If passed, it would make it a felony for physicians to provide hormone blockers, hormone treatment, or gender-affirming surgeries to transgender youth. Peter Choice shares concerns from the LGBTQ community and pediatricians.
I spoke to Kimber London, who is a non-binary activist living in North Idaho. London believes gender-affirming care saves lives, and taking the care away from children could raise suicide rates higher than ever.
There's no excuse for ignorance. The American Medical Association, all of these institutions are coming out and saying gender-affirming care is a positive thing and it saves lives.
London tells me criminalizing gender-affirming medical care would restrict what doctors believe is right for patients.
We need to stop putting pressure on our medical providers with jail time for performing certain procedures. I think the biggest question that we all need to address as a society is, Do we need to get involved in what families decide is right for themselves, between themselves and their healthcare provider?
In terms of the medical treatment, this care is life-saving.
Because she says transgender youth are in much higher risk of depression and suicidal thoughts right now.
Hence, when they receive evidence-based gender-affirming care, their odds risk of depression goes down by 60%-ish, and of suicide goes down by almost 75%.
If this bill passes, you could lose some patients.
Yeah, I mean, I'm worried about losing them to suicide for sure. Suicide is the third leading killer of kids, of adolescents and young adults, and the second leading killer of young adolescents aged 10 to 14.
She says this care is a long and slow procedure in which doctors conduct mental health assessments before they provide medical treatment.
Therapy, psychological assessment, and then social transition before we look at medication. You can't just walk into a physician's office and come out with a prescription.
If passed, Idaho will be the next state, followed by South Dakota and Utah, to ban gender-affirming care for transgender minors. We reach out to Senate lawmakers who will consider the bill for comment but have not heard back. And no word yet on when the Senate plans to vote. In studio tonight, Peter Choi, 4 News Now.
Peter, thank you. A woman fights off her attacker in her apartment complex gym. How he managed to get in and what happened after he ran off. Coming up.
And the city of Spokane wants to take a collaborative approach to ending homelessness. Why the city council members say Spokane Valley and the county need to work together to try and solve the housing crisis. Plus,
a biodiesel plant the size of 3 Walmarts is being proposed in the backyard of this subdivision. We have the details coming up.
Track live radar on the 4 News Now weather app.
26 years strong.
Right now with Papa Murphy's, we've got a great deal.
Which means I make more great pizza.
Like our $9.99 XLNY pizza. It's everything you'd expect from a classic New York-style pizza, hot and fresh out of your oven. Order now at papamurphys.com.
At Dishman Dodge Ram Chrysler Jeep, we are offering a sweetheart of a deal by aggressively lowering prices to sell them fast. Plus, offering delayed payments until April 1st, so you don't have to wait for your new vehicle. This week at Dishman.
For over 60 years, McVey Brothers Siding and Windows has been supplying the entire region with the very best energy-efficient windows made by the Coeur d'Alene Window Company. As people continue to improve and upgrade their older homes, McVey Brothers would love to help by offering our most advanced R4 window package at last year's rates to give you the most energy-efficient windows sold today before the prices go up. We understand people are spending more time in their homes, so we want to do our part in making it as comfortable as possible.
It's the President's Day holiday sales event at all Walker's Furniture and Mattress stores with special offers and overstock discounts on $15 million of overstock furniture and mattresses for every room in your home.
Get that new bedroom set or that living room furniture you've been waiting for, or the hot new styles that have just arrived with big overstock discounts and special financing, making it the perfect time to furnish your life for less at Walker's.
This is how you put some good in your morning. Monday, Dwayne Johnson is on.
Good morning, America.
And next week, Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, and a sneak look at Meredith's final Grey's Anatomy. All on
Good Morning, America.
Papa Murphy's presents How to Change the Way You Pizza. Step 1, grab a delicious Papa Murphy's pizza. Step 2, bake. Step 3, chow down on the deliciousness. Right now, get the Murphy's Combo Pizza for just $12.99 at papamurphys.com.
Tonight, a biodiesel plant the size of 3 Walmarts is being proposed in a controversial location about 500 feet away from a subdivision in Pullman.
KXLY's Jordan Smith visited Pullman today to learn more about this project. He joins us from Pullman with more details on this proposal and how close it will come to the houses.
Aaron, Kirsten, I'm standing in a brand new subdivision that's still being developed. And just to the right of me is the proposed location of that 500,000 square foot biodiesel plant.
In the future, we're going to be known for that plant.
Residents are sounding the alarm on a major development proposed by the Port of Whitman County. The proposal, construction of a business park stretched across 180 acres of land, anchored around a biodiesel plant, roughly 500 feet away from this neighborhood. It's a development that neighbor Jim Carr is certain will derail property values across the neighborhood.
We're all going to lose money. The value of these properties are going to go down because nobody wants to be near that.
The business park is bringing with it fears of pollution, noise, and smell into the surrounding area, along with an eyesore for people coming into town.
We're talking about 550,000 square feet. That's 3 Walmarts right there, 3 Walmart size. So I can't see that being something that the city wants.
But the Port of Whitman says they don't expect any of that to happen. In fact, they predict this will bring an economic boom to the Palouse.
This would be more of an economic development, so we would want to attract other businesses to that business park.
Weber later addressed the concerns of pollution, saying its air emissions would be minimal and would help in transitioning farm equipment to biofuel. But a majority of the Palouse is undeveloped and wide open. Theoretically, they could build anywhere, so why would they choose here?
Actually, we can't pick anywhere. There are issues regarding water rates, and so a facility like AgTech OS and then some of the others that we hope to attract, you don't have the ability to get the needed water or the needed power.
And because Pullman already has established water and power infrastructure, they say building within city limits is their best bet to make this happen.
If it doesn't happen here, it's going to be difficult to put it anywhere else.
But nothing is in stone yet. The next steps include public comment periods, and it must be approved by City Council. The earliest they would have an answer is within 90 days. In Pullman, Jordan Smith, 4 News Now.
Well, the sun going down here. Our weather cameras switching over to night mode as we get at least a clear start to the night. We are gaining daylight in a rapid fashion, but all the extra light and the extra heat not going to stop the winter weather that is on the way next week. We'll show you how it plays out and how much longer you can enjoy the warmth coming up.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
4 News Now is brought to you by Huckleberries.
Those responsible for making our local roads and highways safe for winter travel would like to remind you that snow removal is an important, critical, and precise task. Please give the right-of-way to removal equipment so we can all get where we need to go quickly and safely.
You've been hearing about it, and now we've got it at Post Falls Volkswagen, the ID4 electric SUV. This SUV has a space, warranty, technology that buyers want at a price that's competitive. The ID4 was engineered to win the hearts of SUV owners ready to go electric. With a quick charge and an EPA estimated range of 260 miles.
The Volkswagen ID4, now eligible for a $7,500 lease credit.
The ID4 electric SUV, see it at Post Falls Volkswagen.
Home. It's both a place and a feeling. At yours, you strive to make new memories, create traditions, share stories, find the fun, embrace the surprises, and celebrate moments big and small. Memories are made at home, in every room, in every moment. Make your house feel like home at the Tin Roof.
There's a new tax refund called the Working Families Tax Credit from the Washington State Department of Revenue. Those who qualify could get up to $1,200 back. Visit workingfamiliescredit.wa.gov.
My name is Jennifer, and this is my Summit Cancer Center story. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in November of 2015. Getting a cancer diagnosis is literally like having the rug pulled out from underneath you. When I'm at Summit Cancer Centers, I feel like they're kind of part of my family in a sense. They've always had my best interests in mind, so I'm actually very hopeful for the future. I would recommend Summit Cancer Center.
Winter weather means hazardous driving conditions. If you must travel, follow these guidelines to keep everyone safe. Slow down and keep a safe following distance. Use traction tires. Give snow and emergency vehicles the right of way. Carry an emergency kit. Brought to you by Lakes, Worley, Post Falls, and Eastside Highway Districts.
Well, Camp Hope is the face of homelessness in Spokane. New photos and data show the camp is shrinking in size and population. 20 people moved out just last week. 108 people are still living on the state-owned land. Now Spokane County is looking at a more collaborative approach to ending homelessness.
Earlier today, the Spokane City Council heard from Gavin Cooley, former city CFO, about kicking off a regional homeless effort in the county. No action came from this meeting. Bronte Sorotsky is live outside City Hall to explain why today was just a discussion and what needs to be done to get a collaborative plan in motion.
Well, earlier today, City Council was approached with a plan to bring a more structured approach to addressing homelessness in Spokane County. Now, today was just a discussion with the hopes that they can work with all the surrounding cities to tackle homelessness in the area. The city of Spokane has been working on ways to address homelessness for years. Now, they're looking at a new approach that would bring the entire county to the table.
Independent entity that would be kind of an umbrella with all the funding and the resources and the service providers and the stakeholders all under one roof.
Once those discussions are complete and agreed upon, the county will hopefully form a regional homeless authority that includes Spokane, Spokane Valley, and the rest of Spokane County.
We need to get to a point where we decide what type of structure that we want this to look like, what it will be modeled after, bringing all the stakeholders together, deciding which service providers are doing things in a way that we want them to continue to, and where we need to fill some of the gaps.
Another detail that needs to be ironed out is the money.
So right now there's several different funding sources administered by different jurisdictions, and they're not coordinated. There's duplication, and so we need to just cut through all that to be more effective.
Originally, Thursday's City Council meeting was going to end in a vote about the details of this housing authority. The Spokane City Council needs to be the first entity to approve anything before the county or Spokane Valley will.
Some of my council members said, it seems a little too fast.
Now everyone involved will need to agree on how they will work together to move things forward. The Spokane City Council will have a legislative session 2 weeks from now to have a formal vote about how to proceed, and Spokane Valley could have a vote on their involvement as well. Reporting live in Spokane, Bronte Sorotsky, 4 News Now.
And we turn now to your forecast. We've been enjoying some beautiful weather this week across the inland Northwest. Lots of sunshine, warm temperatures, things going to start to turn. We'll have a little bit of hints of it over the next 3 days or so as we see some very isolated showers with a wintry mix. A lot of that going to be in North Idaho. And then as the big storm comes in, it's going to be rain, and then it's going to flip over to snow on Tuesday. And Tuesday looks like it is going to be quite a slog as winter weather returns across the region. We'll start off with this system, which is mostly impacting the west side, west of the Cascades, although a little bit of moisture has moved up into Canada. Some of this is going to track down across the inland Northwest tonight and early in the morning. So I want to show you that first, because some places may get just a little bit of a dusting, especially as you head north of I-90. So places like Sandpoint, Bonners Ferry, down into the Chewelah and Deer Park areas, those spots, you might see a little bit of snow just for a very brief moment early in the morning hours. Unlikely to see anything stick around Coeur d'Alene as we see this moisture come down here a little bit later in the morning at about 9 o'clock, and we'll have warmed up considerably by then, and it fades out pretty quickly on Friday. So I'm going to keep our precipitation chances very, very low outside of mountain areas. And, well, our computer is only showing a chance for a little bit of a dusting, Bonners Ferry and Sandpoint, although I could see a little dusting as far south as, say, Athol and Spirit Lake, kind of the way things are playing out here tonight. Speaking of tonight, temperatures in the 20s in the north. Right about 30 degrees in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, 20s on the Palouse and in north central Idaho, and we'll be in the 30s in the LC Valley, central Washington down to the upper 20s. A little bit warmer thanks to mostly cloudy skies, and we will see a fairly cloudy start to the day with some of that moisture moving through. We'll see the sun peek back out as we head into the afternoon. Temperatures going to pop back up into the 40s, so we continue to see this nice stretch of 40s around the region. 42 in Spokane, 41 for Coeur d'Alene. Be in the 50s in the LC Valley and mid-30s in the typically cold Met-Howe Valley. Of course, after the weekend, things really start to turn as that storm comes in. And so let's talk about this a little bit. Winter is coming back next week, and there is a lot of impact that you got to know about. First of all, we're talking about snow. Snow amounts still a little bit uncertain. We're thinking at least an inch or 3 on Tuesday, but there is some chances for a lot more than that. And I'll explain a little bit more coming up in the 6:30 half hour. And it's going to be pretty darn cold as well. We're talking about potential for some lows in the single digits above 0 by the time we get to about a week from now. And road conditions, snow, wind, blowing and drifting as that Arctic air pushes in. That's not a great combination, and it's been a long time since we've had to drive like that because we just have not had a lot of snow in the lowlands. So possible weather alert day as this all happens within kind of a 24, 36-hour period. And you can see these temperatures right about a week from now going to 9 degrees in the morning and 19 on Thursday. The exact number, not exactly all that important this far out, but the general range, definitely something that you want to watch as we continue to track these developments as that storm gets closer.
All right, Matt, thank you. Almost a dozen cars towed in Brown's Edition. We'll tell you why and how much one man had to pay to get his back. Coming up on 4 News Now at 6.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
Some ideas seem good, but aren't.
Maybe these guys will buy our house.
What could go wrong?
Like rookie home buyers who don't have experience you can count on. We Buy Ugly Houses has been buying houses as is for almost 3 decades. Call or click to sell quick.
Chihuahua Casino is all about having fun. We have over 300 gaming machines and are always adding new ones. You could win your share of $6,000 cash. And one lucky winner will receive this 2023 Can-Am Commander. Drawings start at 5 p.m. Saturday, February 25th. Chihuahua Casino, we are the place that treats you right. 100% non-smoking, jackpots, food, sports betting, live table games, and fun. Learn more at ChihuahuaCasino.com.
We so amazing.
The stylish Chevy Equinox RS. And Chevy Blazer RS.
So captivating.
You don't have to be an influencer to be an influencer.
The crowd go crazy.
The RS family of Chevy SUVs. Definitely worth a follow. Get 2.99% financing for 5 years on all 2023 Equinox models, or get $1,000 cash allowance on all 2023 Equinox models. Plus, current competitive owners get an additional $750 cash allowance.
So we recently partnered up with Ben Gregg of the Gonzaga Bulldogs to help us spread the word about our Zags Win, You Win promotion. And next time I'll bet he'll read the fine print.
It's not all bad. Turns out I have a natural talent for heating and cooling. Zags win, you win.
As temperatures rise, these vehicles are red hot at our sizzling summer sale at Wendell Ford.
You know, it's February, right?
The lake is calling, and the incentives are heating up. Dip into great financing options now. 0% financing for 36 months on Escape, Edge, Explorer, and the powerful F-150 with our best selection in almost 2 years. Wendell is always ahead of the season. It's our sizzling summer sale. Wendell Ford at the Y on North Division. Drive for generations.
Some ideas seem good, but aren't.
Maybe these guys will buy our house.
What could go wrong?
Like rookie home buyers who don't have experience you can count on. We Buy Ugly Houses has been buying houses as is for almost 3 decades. Call or click to sell quick.
4 News Now is brought to you by Craig Swap & Associates.
All Around the nation, President Biden says the U.S. has no indication the objects shot down over the weekend are tied to China's spy balloon program.
Today was the first time he's formally talked about the 3 objects that were flying over North America. The objects are believed to be much smaller than the Chinese surveillance balloon the U.S. previously shot down. Biden also sharing that he plans for stricter enforcement of U.S. airspace.
We'll implement further measures to improve our capacity to detect unmanned objects in our airspace.
Over the last few days, crews have recovered critical fragments of the spy balloon's payload, which includes technical equipment and antennas, but extreme conditions are hindering efforts to recover debris from those other 3 objects.
We'll take a look at this woman fighting off her attacker. She's not giving in. This is inside of her apartment complex gym in Florida. It all started after the woman let the suspect into that gym, saying she didn't think twice about it since people would forget their key and then they couldn't get into the gym. Well, the suspect said the bodybuilder saw the bodybuilder and figured if she kept fighting back that he would eventually get tired and give up.
That was my, thought the entire time, because the more fight you put in, I do believe they would get more tired because they see that, dang, this girl is fighting, and you can see at the end of the video, he was tired.
Well, after struggling with him for more than a minute, she was able to break free. You see in the video. The story doesn't end there, though. According to a criminal report affidavit, the next day, the man knocked on another woman's apartment door asking if she wanted to hang out because he thought she was pretty. Deputies say he entered her apartment, but the victim's fiance chased him out. After that encounter, deputies located and arrested Thomas Jones.
We have much more coming up tonight at 6:30.
Including how the National Suicide and Crisis Hotline is expanding to support a more diverse group of people.
A bill in the legislature wants to stop students from being isolated and restrained in schools. Coming up, I'll take you through that proposed legislation.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Don't need glasses. See us for your contacts and save on your annual supply.
I have this nagging feeling that I embarrassed myself last night.
Everyone gets that from time to time.
Bring us your finest bottle of Cabernet. And that, my friends, is how Craps got its name, I'm guessing. You know you're taking a gamble there. You gonna eat your crust?
And we're walking.
So to be clear...
Trust me, you are your normal self.
See, that's what I was afraid of.
Winter weather means hazardous driving conditions. If you must travel, follow these guidelines to keep everyone safe. Slow down and keep a safe following distance. Use traction tires. Give snow and emergency vehicles the right of way. Carry an emergency kit. Brought to you by Lakes, Worley, Post Falls, and Eastside Highway Districts.
Broadway's Tony-winning Best Musical is Dear Evan Hansen. Dear Evan Hansen, March 14th through 19th at First Interstate Center for the Arts. Find your tickets at BroadwaySpokane.com today.
This February, if you're searching for something sexy, tough, reliable, and exciting, then you need to visit Findlay Downtown Toyota and fall in love with a new RAV4 or Highlander, or maybe a Tundra or Tacoma truck, and take advantage of great financing options. Plus, if you're looking for a quality used vehicle, we've got over 3 blocks full of great options to choose from. This February, fall in love with a new vehicle for 2023 from Findlay.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Shopko Optical welcomes more insurance plans than ever. Call to book an exam and verify coverage.
Should you really buy your car from a vending machine?
Did I tell you I bought our car from Carvana?
Next, Inside Edition.
Oh my God, it was like the most exciting thing to happen to me.
But wait till you hear what she is saying now.
They made it so fun, but then all of a sudden...
Then, the sudden and shocking death of sex symbol legend Raquel Welch. What we've learned about her final days. Next, Inside Edition.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Inside Edition at 7. Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now at 6:30.
New at 6:30, people in one Browns Addition neighborhood are now forking over hundreds of dollars to get their vehicles out of impound.
Well, many of the vehicles were towed at the order of Spokane police without a notice and for one main reason. 4 News Now's Rania Kaur explains.
11 cars from the Browns Addition neighborhood had expired tabs. By law in Washington, your car can be impounded 45 days after your tabs expire. Stephen Mowbray says his tabs on his truck were expired by several months, and it was parked out in front of his home since he was in the process of getting it fixed and selling it. While he admits he was in the wrong for having expired tabs in the first place, he's frustrated because his car was towed without any posted notice.
To see something as, so sudden, and again, we're all on hard times right now, and I understand the police department is too, but we all need to be courteous to one another. That's what the police department's there for, to help us out, not to take from our pockets.
Mowbray paid a little over $300 to get his car back. The Spokane Police Department tells me it doesn't have to provide notice to impound a car with tabs that have expired past 45 days. I spoke to an officer who says there's a bigger reason those 11 cars were towed. I'll have that part of the story and what traffic enforcers want you to know tonight on Nightside. In studio, Rania Kaur, 4 News Now.
Well, here we are taking a look out on a beautiful night after a beautiful day in Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. Live look there now at the pavilion. We've had wonderful weather over the past few days, and we are going to see a little bit more before things really start to turn in a huge way. 37 right now in Spokane. It's 36 in Coeur d'Alene. We were up into the 40s before sunset. Gain a little daylight each day, too. That is pretty nice. Not going to be all that chilly tonight after what was a pretty chilly morning this morning, down to the low 20s. And that is because we do have some cloud cover moving in. Those clouds are bringing a little bit of moisture, but not enough for most of us to see anything, although I will, a little bit later, talk about who could see just a little dusting of snow coming up. In the meantime, as you head to that 6, 8 a.m. hour, you might see a flurry, but nothing that's going to stick on the ground. So overall, the pattern not changing a ton as we go through Friday and into the weekend. As we head into next week, though, that's when things really start to go downhill. Winter is going to return on Tuesday. Arctic air is coming back into the forecast. I know, I'm not thrilled either. This is what we've got, and by Wednesday, we're talking about some very cold temperatures, especially for late February. I'll talk more about this storm coming in and what we can expect as we head through the day tomorrow and get ready for your weekend coming up.
Thank you, Matt. New at 6:30, chaos in a Wisconsin courtroom when a murder suspect turned on her defense attorney. The sheriff's office told everyone to leave the room as backup arrived to try and restrain her. Once under control, she motions to a family member before being removed from the courtroom. Minutes later, her attorney continues where he left off.
Well, shoppers inside this Yellow Vista Mall in El Paso, Texas, seen running for cover as shots were fired. One person was killed, 3 others hurt in the mass shooting last night.
We're just shopping around. We were about to leave, and that's when we heard the 3 shots go off, and then I thought somebody was popping balloons, and I peered out, and I saw the barrel of a gun.
Police say 2 suspects are now in custody, and they're crediting off-duty officers who quickly responded. A motive has not been revealed for the shooting. The FBI is assisting in the investigation. El Paso is still a community on edge after the 2019 shooting at the Walmart right next door to the Cielo Mall, where 23 people were killed. The gunman in that attack pleaded guilty to 90 federal hate crime charges. He will be sentenced in June.
As Michigan State University mourns the deaths of 3 students in the deadly shooting on campus this week, we learned new details about the gunman. Authorities say the shooter had 50 rounds of loose ammunition, 8 magazines and 2 handguns on him, along with a 2-page note in his pocket listing other locations and giving an indication of a motive. Thousands of students and community members held a vigil in honor of the 3 students killed.
Our lives have been permanently changed. Gun violence is insane right now.
We shouldn't have to live like this. We are the only country in the world where guns are the #1 killer of young people.
Other Michigan students channeling their grief into protests, gathering at the Capitol in Lansing to urge gun reform.
Well, it's a practice still used in some schools, and critics argue it's traumatizing. In certain emergencies, the law allows staff to restrain and isolate students who have special needs and are behaving in a way that could cause serious harm.
Some lawmakers want to see the policy gone from schools. Vanessa Perez walks us through the bill and why a local school district has major concerns with the proposal.
If passed, students would no longer be able to be restrained or isolated in schools. While supporters say this would keep teachers and students safe, others believe it just takes away from that protection.
Controlling behavior is not always possible for all students, especially those with disabilities. At Central Valley School District, special ed teachers have a tailored action plan if a student is acting extreme.
The individuals who do that work all receive proper training and how to do that, and there's already a whole series of forms and documentations that they're required to do in order to comply with the state.
Superintendent Parker stresses it's only a small percentage of students who would need restraint or isolation. He calls a last resort. Under the bill, schools would need to wipe out those practices, but it's a tool Parker says is beneficial for all.
They may hurt other people, and it's one of the things as superintendent I really struggle with as far as knowing that I don't have any other means by which to keep other staff, students, and the student themselves safe.
Existing isolation rooms would need to remain unlocked, and no new rooms can be created after next year. Team Child, an advocacy organization, says current practices can dramatically change the school experience.
After that incident, it's never the same in school again. School is never a safe place after that. School is always a spot where somebody might harm you.
Thurman says it's often students in elementary who deal with isolation and restraints.
We'll have things we don't like, things in the world we don't like. It teaches them the opposite, that you just are going to be, people are going to come at you and do it, and you have to be fearful of authority, and you have to be fearful of people in places that maybe are trying to help you.
Proposed legislation to roll back on harmful practices, but for others, a policy that could take away useful tools. Reporting in Spokane, Vanessa Perez, 4 News Now.
Gonzaga basketball is looking for payback against Loyola Marymount tonight. What head coach Mark Few says are the keys to victory coming up in sports.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
Get ready to feel the love, y'all. That's right. We're all new all February. Bring it on.
Watch Kelly weekdays at 4 and 4 News Now at 5.
I'm Mark Peterson, the Extreme Team and Horizon Credit Union, ready to take on the next task. If you know of a project that needs an Extreme Team makeover, go to KXLY.com to nominate it. 4 News Now Extreme Team brought to you by Horizon Credit Union.
It's a great time to improve your sleep and pay less during the President's Day mattress event at Walker's.
Enjoy the best selections of all your favorite mattress brands. And when you purchase an iComfort or Beautyrest Black Hybrid, you'll get up to $300 of free furniture plus a $100 prepaid MasterCard, as well as 5 years no money down financing.
Making it the perfect time to improve your sleep for less.
This week at all Walker's Furniture locations.
There are a lot of ways to deal with a stubborn drain. Call us at Mainstream Plumbing. Our high-definition LED camera can go where no plumber's gone before, deep inside your sewer lines to find the root of the problem. Call 866-411-ZAP.
This month, we're turning up the heat at Max Auto Sports. During the I Want to Getaway event, get a sweet deal. Then take your sweetheart to Vegas on us. Choose from the coolest cars from $199 or the toughest trucks from $299. Our lifetime powertrain warranty at no cost with rates from 2.9% and $4,000 over KBB for your trade-in. You can't let this get away. For 6 days only, the I Want to Getaway event at Max Auto Sports on the corner of Lyons and Division.
It's a February four-wheel drive sale this week at Cal.
Where for 4 days only, Cal is dropping the prices on four-wheel drives. Plus, giving you an extra $400 for your trade-in.
So you can get a new vehicle in the new year from Cal.
Ironstone Furniture and Fire is making room for new inventory. For a limited time, you can create your ideal space and save on in-stock selections. Sofas, chairs, tables, and more. comfortable and beautiful furniture makes a house feel like home. Visit our showroom, Ironstone Furniture and Fire in Coeur d'Alene.
It's basketball night in Spokane. Welcome into sports. I'm Julian Minnesota. Gonzaga men's basketball will get a do-over against Loyola Marymount tonight. The Bulldogs lost the first meeting a month ago in Spokane. Now Gonzaga is looking for payback on the road. The Bulldogs will look to slow down LMU's Cam Shelton, who scored 27 points in the first meeting at the Kennel. LMU is a confident bunch right now. The Lions are coming off a win over St. Mary's last week. And if the Zags learned anything about that first matchup, it's to not take LMU lightly.
They're a really good team. I mean, they're on their way to win 20-plus games this year. And obviously beating Gonzaga and beating St. Mary's, it's going to be a tough haul for us. And we know that.
Tip-off between Gonzaga and LMU is scheduled for 8 o'clock tonight in Los Angeles. LMU is the first team in the West Coast Conference's history to defeat Gonzaga, St. Mary's, and BYU all in the same season. We'll have highlights of this one tonight on Nightside. Gonzaga women's basketball is at home against Pacific tonight. The Bulldogs lead 31-18 in the second quarter. We'll also have an update of this one for you tonight on Nightside. Over in Pullman, Washington State men's hoops will hit the court against Oregon State. This is the first and only regular season meeting between the two schools. The Cougars lost 2 in a row before earning that huge win over the rival Washington Huskies over the weekend. Washington State head coach Kyle Smith says Cougars star player Mohamed Gay needs to have a big game if they want to beat the Beavers.
If Mo plays well, we got a good chance. That's the best way to put it. And it gets a lot tougher if he doesn't play well. And he was great against SC. I thought he was really good against UW. I expect him to play well every game now, too.
Washington State and Oregon State tip-off at 8 o'clock tonight from Beasley Coliseum in Pullman. This weekend is the final home games of the regular season for the Cougars. Washington State, after tonight, will have its Senior Day celebration Sunday against Oregon. And Washington State women's basketball has its final homestand of the season when the Cougars take on the Oregon schools, Oregon and Oregon State this weekend. As of now, the Cougars are in the NCAA tournament according to ESPN's bracketology, but Washington State wants to improve its tournament position and get comfortably off the bubble.
I don't think any of us feel good about our resume or, for sure we're in. I mean, the league is brutal and we deserve 8 or 9 teams in, but we don't want to leave that to chance. I think we just want to continue to play good basketball.
Washington State and Oregon go head-to-head at 7 o'clock tomorrow night from Beasley Coliseum in Pullman. The Cougars won the first matchup in Eugene. Washington State will be looking for its first multi-game sweep of Oregon for the first time since 2001, excuse me. Eastern Washington is looking to extend its NCAA best win streak to 16 games tonight. The Eagles lead Northern Arizona 31-18 in the first half. And we will have final post-game coverage of that game as well tonight on Nightside. That'll wrap us up for sports. We'll be right back.
Stream 4 News now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app.
At Dishman Dodge Ram Chrysler Jeep, we are offering a sweetheart of a deal by aggressively lowering prices to sell them fast. Plus, offering delayed payments until April 1st, so you don't have to wait for your new vehicle. This week at Dishman.
You want to know why I call South Carolina home? Come on, take a road trip with me. When you look around, you can really get a sense of why I love my home state. From the beaches all the way up to the beautiful mountains, South Carolina's got awesome scenery, cool cities, rich culture, and super friendly people. Of course, the best thing you can do is come down to South Carolina and find your own favorite places. Come see why I love this place.
It's time to elevate your finances with an Ascend checking account from P1FCU. It's a free checking account that can pay you dividends. Earn 1.45% APY on balances up to $15,000. Plus, get online and mobile banking, mobile deposit, and no minimum balance requirements. Level up your finances with Ascend checking. To open your account, visit p1fcu.org/ascend. P1FCU, your community, your credit union.
It's a February four-wheel drive sale at all 3 Cal locations as Cal loads up the lot with tough loaded SUVs and trucks, and for 4 days only drops their prices by $400, plus giving you an extra $400 for your trade-in. And 44 George Washington's down is all you need.
When you live in the beautiful Northwest, then you better own a four-wheel drive.
And today through this Monday, it's the best time to get a new four-wheel drive at Cal.
One of the best-kept secrets in Spokane is the little granite and cabinet store that does most of the biggest remodels and new construction. Northwest Granite.
Northwest Granite is known for their incredible selection of unique granite, marble, and quartz countertop options that bring captivating, attractive looks to any room in your home.
From quality flooring to a variety of cabinets and exotic countertops, Northwest Granite is the one-stop shop that does it all.
So, what did you say you do again?
Can you be in love with someone you're lying to?
4 News Now is brought to you by Ironstone Furniture and Fire.
I'm going to start off here talking about about this section right here. Why we are a little bit concerned that there might be a little bit more than just an inch or 3 worth of snow in the inland Northwest with this system as we head into Tuesday. Cold weather coming in as well, and of course really tough road conditions. So a lot of things that we are going to be looking at as we flip back over to winter in just a few days from now. Now, don't get concerned any by these low numbers. We're very confident we are going to see some snow, but because it's 5 days out, this is just what the computers do. What is significant, however, is that we have any percentages at all of seeing more than 4 inches, more than 6 inches, more than 8 inches, more than 12 inches in the I-90 corridor, Spokane to Coeur d'Alene on Tuesday. It's not a lot of the computers are doing this. They're mostly over here, but there is enough. And there's at least some scientific backing behind this. If we do get the cold air coming in very, very quickly, then we could end up with basically more snow out of the same amount of moisture, and we could end up with some quite big snow totals. So a lot to work through. We got, 4 or 5 days before we have to kind of nail this down here. But for now, a possible alert day, snow and severe road conditions. And look, it's not going to be fun either way, whether it's 2 inches, whether it's 6 inches. It's not going to be a great day out traveling. Tuesday, really, or Wednesday as well. Spokane and the northern Idaho Panhandle. That's where we're expected to see the heaviest snow out of this system next Tuesday. Once again, that is the day that the weather is going to mess up your plans, and you got to start planning around it now. Until then, light chances for rain or a wintry mix, which is mostly going to be in the weekend. We'll warm up as we head into Monday, and so that'll be mostly rain that we're keeping an eye on. We do have a chance for 1 or 2 little snow showers as we head into tonight and early tomorrow morning. You can see from Deer Park to Sandpoint, north to the Bonners Ferry area, 6 a.m. on Friday. Chance for just a little bit of snow. Might end up with a dusting in the northern Panhandle as this tracks further south and we warm up as the morning goes on. We're likely to see any accumulations, especially around Kootenai County, where things will be a little bit more vigorous, but you may run into a snow shower. It'll be pretty low impact on your day, and we'll see a little bit of sunshine come back out in the metro for the afternoon. You can see our snowfall projections not showing all that much, a little bit of light accumulations around the Selkirks and Lake Pend Oreille. That is about it. And so for most of us, we get to enjoy a little bit cloudier day than what we've seen recently, but the sun will pop back out again in the afternoon. Temperatures are going to be in the 40s, so our streak of 40-degree days will continue. Overnight temperatures with cloud cover moving in with this little bit of moisture that's moving over. Not going to be all that chilly. We'll still see plenty of 20s out there, but it's not going to be like it was this morning where we were starting to get down to the low 20s in many parts of the I-90 corridor here. And here are your highs. Mid-40s in the valley, low 40s as you work your way onto the Palouse, and as you head further north, Spirit Lake gets up to 39 for your Friday highs. We'll see a little bit more sunshine on Saturday, but then we should cloud over pretty good on Sunday out ahead of this storm. Start as rain Monday. Here comes the snow and the potential weather alert day on Tuesday with the worst conditions out on the roads. Wednesday, a little more snow, windy conditions, possible wind chill impacts, because look at these temperatures as we head into Thursday. It is going to be true winter weather next week. It doesn't feel like it now. It feels impossible, but it is going to happen. So be ready, because that's going to be a shock to the system for sure.
Yes. All right. Thanks, Matt. Well, here's a look at ABC's primetime lineup tonight.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
At McVeigh Brothers Roofing, Siding, and Windows, we're the only 5-star certified select shingle master contractor in the Inland Northwest. That puts McVeigh Brothers in the top 1% of our profession. At McVeigh Brothers, we're working for you.
The Floor Trader Outlet Manufacturer Private Sale going on now. This exclusive manufacturer authorized private sale only happens once a year. 40% off select carpets, 10 days only. The Floor Traders Manufacturer Private Sale ends this month.
It's where the Northwest saves on flooring.
Corner of Division and Francis. Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning is your family-owned and operated #1 HVAC contractor in the Northwest. Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning would like to introduce our own carbon reduction program. Buy a new energy-efficient furnace from Bill's Heating and receive a heat pump with installation absolutely free. No hidden fees, no conditions, no exceptions. Buy a furnace, get a free heat pump from Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call today for estimates and repairs.
It's a February 4-wheel drive sale this week at Cal.
Where for 4 days only, Cal is dropping the prices on 4-wheel drives. Plus, giving you an extra $400 for your trade-in.
So you can get a new vehicle in the new year from Cal.
Our priorities, they've changed.
Hey, Lexus, play my music.
It's not just about getting ahead or the constant grind. It's about knowing what you want.
Watch for traffic.
And focusing on what matters. Welcome to the next level. This is the Lexus NX. With intuitive tech and our most advanced safety system ever.
The Floor Trader Outlet Manufacturer Private Sale going on now. This exclusive manufacturer authorized private sale only happens once a year. 40% off select carpets, 10 days only. The Floor Traders Manufacturer Private Sale ends this month.
It's where the Northwest saves on flooring.
Corner of Division and Francis.
At McVeigh Brothers Roofing, Siding, and Windows, we're the only 5-star certified select shingle master contractor in the Inland Northwest. That puts McVeigh Brothers in the top 1% of our profession. At McVeigh Brothers, we're working for you.
Next ET. We're in Sin City for our American Idol exclusive, and what happens in Vegas, well,
I can officially say I don't remember.
Plus, we're with Chris Pratt celebrating his Super Mario debut.
It's pretty magical.
Then Couples Week continues with Raven Simone and wife Miranda.
We could definitely have a show on ET if necessary. 100%.
Next ET.
Watch 4 News Now at 6 and Entertainment Tonight at 7:30.
911 for emergencies is simple and it's easy to remember.
Rita Roy explains why the same idea is being used by the National Suicide and Crisis Hotline.
Good morning, 988. How may I help you?
Trained professionals assisting caller after caller dialing into the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, or 988. The 3-digit number launched last summer to make it easier for people to remember.
We're seeing individuals who are dealing with depression, dealing with anxiety.
More than 2 million people called, texted, or chatted with a counselor. In just the first 6 months, the 988 line was up and running.
So the call volume has gone up exponentially.
It comes at a crucial time. The CDC releasing a new report saying more than 48,000 people died by suicide in 2021. That's the highest number in 4 years.
We are providing empathy, really building rapport, but also safety and risk assessing.
There are more than 200 call centers spread across the country, and now the program is expanding, having counselors on hand who speak Spanish and those who specialize in helping LGBTQ youth.
When someone calls in, they're able to hear a recording that states if they press 1, they get the veterans line. They press 2, they get Spanish, and they press 3, it's for LGBTQ.
The response has been intense. The volume was higher than we expected. When you're an LGBTQ young person, you want to make sure that the person is using your correct pronoun. You want the person to understand what you might be going through.
And there are plans to develop text and chat options for Spanish speakers in addition to the voice line.
It's important that they can actually express themselves in Spanish via text and chat. When you have folks, for instance, who are struggling with their gender identity, sometimes actually hearing their voice can be really triggering for their suicidal thoughts.
The Suicide and Crisis Lifeline encourages people to reach out to 988 even if they're not actively in crisis.
The biggest mistake that folks make around 988 is that it has to be an emergency. We'd like to catch you before then, and we're here.
And if you are experiencing a mental health or emotional crisis, call or text 988 to speak with a trained counselor 24/7. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
It's like a couple days of sunshine left. That's nice, you know, heading into your weekend.
At least the weekend, it holds off before it gets super cold again.
I saw the pine needles.